Hello and welcome back to We're Across the Wasteland, Part 3. Hello, we are back.
Welcome back. Today this is the final chapter in the arc, I believe.
Not the entire arc, this little mini arc of We're Across the Wasteland.
Arc 16 ends here. It was a wild ride.
15 chapters in with no resolution.
Fuck yes. Who even cares what happens to the other... What are they called? Not the Nebulas, the leaders.
Characters?
No, the leaders of the countries. What are their name?
The Central Governing Council.
Yeah, who even gives a swag?
No gods, no masters, You know what I mean?
No gods, no masters. Amanda? Huh? Noel Edmonds mused. That honestly wasn't hard as I expected. I assume as hard as I expected.
You got a Dragon coin.
What can I spend them on?
New Dragon costumes.
They're like barely changed like colors. It's like a slightly darker shade of blue
I've seen
jacket.
the Night Ray one where it has like a little badge.
Yeah. And every time you pick one, he does like a little twirl so you can see his like behind.
It's like, I guess I'll change my clothes for you.
It's not like I want to or anything. The only one who decides what I wear is me.
Like you're scrolling through, just the same he starts the same animation of everyone.
Every single one.
Yeah.
So you can make it look like he's doing a little shimmy.
They put in too many costumes and not enough voice lines.
Yeah, and they're all really annoying to get. You can grind for 3 weeks, or you can spend $20.
Secret, you have to like stand there for an hour till the cloud moves.
Oh my god. The newly ascended fourth branch of the Tree of Might hadn't lasted long. To tell the truth, her ability had been formidable, allowing it to hack into the aether of others using that script of hers, using it as a bridge to attack the enemy's consciousness directly. If it had been Noelle here alone, it surely would have been quite the fight. Unfortunately, Amanda had chosen her first target poorly. That's not me, like, being shitty and doing, like, that schoolyard joke. It's literally, by the way, A-man-da.
Yeah.
Noelle had used her drones to project a holographic disguise, switching the appearances of her and her partner. After such prolonged, intimate exposure to Cursan, well, it was best not to describe the state of her corpse. Aklyma looked queasy as she stepped over the, for lack of a better word, body, looking around the room that hadn't ended up becoming a battlefield. Clearly, Amanda had had a similar idea as Noelle. If you were going to hack into the enemy's systems, you'd want to position yourself in one of the security centers. Circular rows of monitoring stations surrounded them on all sides, all abandoned by the security staff that would have usually manned them. The mundanes had already been evacuated to the lower levels, though. The seat of man was reserved for monsters now. I like to imagine Amanda's ability was literally quick hacking from Cyberpunk.
Yeah, basically.
It's just like, sorry, I gave you brain cancer.
That's
not the puzzle.
Oh no, the Trojan horse!
Trojan horse ability where you can disguise yourself as something people want. They bring you with them. The building trembled. The impossibly loud.
Into Aklyma's Avery, he gets a message like, I've seen on your webcam, you like some sick stuff, don't you? Send me $10,000.
Their ability that makes pop-ups appear in your vision constantly, and you have to click them away. The building trembled, the impossibly loud sounds of clashing blades audible from outside. Case in point. Did you feel it before? Noelle asked casually as she started setting up her connection. Those pulses of aether. Nebula 1's fighting someone out there. Aklyma looked over, gripping her oversized cleaver sword tight. Who? She asked. Noelle shrugged lightly. Beats me. I didn't recognize the feeling. The Supreme, maybe? Anyway, it's just as well that they're keeping each other distracted. We can do what we need to without being interrupted. With another shrug of her shoulders, Noelle deployed some of her automatic drones, flying white cubes, each adorned with a single round blue eye. I'm literally imagining the companion cube from Portal, but with a blue eye. They chirped like electronic birds as they whizzed around, scanning the room for threats, and finding none remaining. Then, 3 of their number reconfigured themselves into a throne for Noelle to rest on. Ooh. What do you mean, rest 1?
Rest 1, rest 2.
Rest 3, rest blue. 2 formed armrests, while the third became the seat. Noelle crossed her legs. I know exactly what this looks like now. They've got like the little black, they got the little black technology lines in the blue center circle. Yeah. Noelle crossed her legs as she sat down. A 4th drone projected her script screen in front of her, and she began to tap away at the holographic display. It was just as she'd thought before. If you were going to hack into the enemy systems, this was the way to do it. The only difference between her and Amanda had been their target. The fourth branch had been hoping to crack open the systems of the Seed of Man itself, while Noelle had her eyes on the prize floating high above. "Can I ask you something?" Aklyma turned, slinging her sword over her shoulder. "It sounds like you're going to," Noelle mumbled. "I'm doing this so I can get revenge on Musashi," Aklyma said quietly. "That's the only thing I have left. That's the only thing I have." "Why are you here? What do you get out of this?" Noelle looked up from her screen, narrowing her cogitant blue eyes. "You really want to know?" she asked. Aklyma nodded. "A couple of years ago," Noelle returned to her work, "someone told me that I wasn't cut out for this line of work. This whole thing, you know. But she didn't know anything." She took a deep breath. "I was on this planet called Talden, part of a group fighting against the government there. And when that all fell apart, that was when I met Smith, the goo thing. And from there I joined Darkstar." "Okay," said Aklyma. "But why?" Noelle's finger hovered over the screen, and she glanced at Aklyma again. "Don't you hate it?" she asked, voice low. "Hate what?" The finger withdrew, and Noelle tightened her hand into a fist. "I don't know, everything. The way it all works, the shape of this world. Don't you think it's repulsive? I don't get how people open their eyes without vomiting. I can't stand it. I can't stand it at all. Do you get what I mean?" "Uh-huh." Aklyma didn't get it at all. Her aether core was hatred. She understood that, certainly. But that hatred was specific. Targeted. Right now, she hated the toy Musashi. That was a single person she could direct her ire on. The idea of hating everything, the whole world? No, she didn't get it at all. "When you can see that something's wrong," Noelle said, "it's only natural to want to make it right. Right? So that's what I'm doing. That's why I'm doing it." "You really think Nying can change the world?" Aklyma asked, her voice full of doubt. Noelle looked back up at her one more time. "Change it?" she said. "No." Okay, so they want to break the shape of the world, too. Nebula 1 extended a gauntlet, the machine gun in his palm aimed directly for his enemy below. His visor was an expressionless cross, but Victory knew what sort of expression rested behind it. That level of lethal intent couldn't be hidden so easily. Come on, show me how much you hate me." Is that his power? The more you hate him, the stronger it is?
No, you're just a freak.
"Dragon's breath," said Fei Long. Victory grinned wildly to himself, ignoring the pain the exaggerated expression produced. "Here it comes!" He'd been looking forward to this. Victory had watched from behind Jamilu's vacuous eyes for years. All those precious comrades of his. Victory understood them, their abilities, the way they fought, the lovely sounds they would make as they died. The sole exception is you, number 1. Fei Long didn't advertise the particulars of his ability, Dragon's Breath. The power that had elevated him to Nebula 1 seemed to do something different every time it was used, making simple observation insufficient for figuring it out. More than that, the specifics of Dragon's Breath were considered a state secret of the highest order. Trying to investigate too loudly would probably get an ultraviolet or 2 on your ass. Not that Victory had to worry about that. All he needed to do was get that ability within range of Conquest, and then things would become truly interesting. Nebula 1 began to fire. The bullets that surged forth from his palm weren't normal, even discounting the effects of Aether infusion. As Victory observed, the projectiles split and veered off in different directions, like cells undergoing mitosis, their paths gently veering to approach Victory from different angles. From behind, from above, from below, in front, left, right, before Victory could so much as blink, he was surrounded by a rapidly shrinking sphere of bullets. His grin didn't waver. "Compass!" he cackled. "Any projectile within 10 centimeters of me!" The shape of the spear changed. It did not spike through the air as a straight line anymore. Instead, it became flexible and pliant, swimming through the air around Victory like an eel as, so fast it was nearly invisible, it intercepted each and every bullet one by one. The demon himself stood unharmed in the middle of its protection, arms folded, eyes half-lidded in the ecstasy of crisis. Conquest. The information flowed into his mind like honey, whispering about the power that sought to kill him. Only... Conquest report. The ability is nameless. The ability consists of two aspects. First, a multiplicative effect is applied to bullets fired from the weapon. They split into randomly determined sets of 4 to 8, each following their own trajectory for 1.6 seconds. Second, those trajectories are recalculated. The new assigned target is the individual in the vicinity with the most innocent blood on their hands. As this is a subjective quality, it is determined by the perception of the victim following a scan of their aetheral memories. The ability falls just within Conquest's complexity limit. As such, development of a counter ability is possible. Proceeding. Developing counter ability. Counter ability complete. Deploy when ready. What? You can just do that?
Yes, well, we mentioned that Jamila only has access to like step 1 of the 3 abilities.
Which is determining what it does, yeah.
Yeah, so the full ability determines what it does and then creates a counter ability.
Okay. Oh boy. Victory
like
Compass
Frown locates a thing and then destroys it.
It's beautiful. Victory Frown as the full Conquest ability did its work. Well, that didn't sound right at all. He didn't doubt Conquest, never, but there was definitely something odd about the information it had just provided. First, the ability was nameless? No, it wasn't. It was called Dragon's Breath. Fei Long had even said it out loud. Even if that was a bluff and the ability actually had no name, Victory couldn't see what benefit Nebula 1 could get from it. Besides, Victory had seen Dragon's Breath before, and back then it had done something entirely different from the attack just now. No, there was more going on here. Victory lunged forward, taking flight, making a beeline directly for his opponent. Imagine going into battle without an analysis ability, honestly. Seems like the meta. His spear followed, still deflecting the attacks that came near him, each impact sending sparks raining down on the ground below. Salivating, the demon raised his flaming claws, ready to bring them down upon Nebula 1. But of course it wasn't that easy. The flames from Fei Long's thrusters reshaped themselves in the wings of fire, and they launched him high up into the air, far out of Victory's reach. As Nebula 1 ascended, he fired another volley downwards, bullets already multiplying as they approached Victory. As if that's a problem anymore. Compass, cancel! Victory plucked a spear from the air and watched with smug satisfaction as each and every bullet sailed wide off course. They hadn't locked on to Victory this time. Of course they hadn't. After all, according to his cleansed aether, Victory had never spilt innocent blood in his life. I lost my place, sorry. Conquest did more than just scan his opponent's abilities. When Jamila was using it, that might have been the case, but the ability showed its true worth in Victory's hands. After analyzing an ability that came near the spear and providing Victory the data on it, Conquest went further, automatically developing a new power to counter the scanned ability and granting Victory control of it. These counter abilities weren't permanent, of course. They would fade in time, but so long as Victory kept scanning the original ability, he could refresh the counter. And besides, as far as he was concerned, these sub-abilities were extras, sprinkles on the ice cream. If it came down to it, he'd just rip the enemy apart with his own 2 hands. Victory slowly floated upwards, spear slung over his shoulders as he held it with both hands. He narrowed his pink gaze as he came level with Fei Long, the two of them separated by a thin stream of smoke from the site of their first clash below. "Bullets, huh?" Victory commented, cocking his head. "I gotta say, I'm disappointed, number 1. You're really gonna hold back like that?" Fei Long said nothing. "You're worried about collateral damage, right?" Victory chuckled. "Man, you're such a pussy. Come on, just cut loose. Nobody'll say anything, and who cares if they do?" Fei Long grit his teeth. What is it?" Victory smirked at the reaction. "Did I say something you didn't like?" "Come on." "What did I say? Share your feelings, man. We've got to communicate if we're going to make it in this world, right?" Fei Long clenched his fists. What'd you say?
Ugly dog in a cape?
We got to communicate. "You're going to have to speak up there, pal." "What do you get out of this?" Fei Long asked, his voice as cold and hard as steel. "What do I get out of this?" Victory wondered, putting a finger to his chin. "What, you mean from talking to you?" "You know what I mean," Fei Long growled. "This carnage, this bloodshed. Your goal is to free the other old demons at this point, isn't it? So why are you still here? How does any of this even benefit you?" Victory smiled. "Because it's fun," he said. Fei Long tightened his fists. "How is any of this fun?" he hissed. "You just don't get it." Victory half closed his eyes, his smile spreading wider and wider in fond reminiscence. "You're living in uninteresting times, bucko, believe me. You've never seen a real war. You've never seen real blood. Real blood? It oozes into your dreams, opens you up, and replaces you with itself. Victory lifted the bloody spear to his mouth and took a long lick of the blood from the blade. His eyes rolled up into their sockets, and a moan of bliss spilled from his lips. Ah, there's nothing like it in the world. His eyes rolled back down, and his pink pupils flared into life. Compass! Fei Long's heart! The spear shot forth, and Fei Long zoomed off to avoid it, heading towards the outer shell of the Seed of Man. Victory himself kicked off of thin air and flew to intercept him. The speed of the three combatants, Fei Long, Victory, and the spear, was such that this clash was reserved for the eyes of the Absolute. Pink and green, green and pink, flashing past each other again, forming a web of light around the Seed of Man as the scope of their clash increased. It's like those geometric fucking light lines.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. The spear bit at the world again and again and again, deflected each time by a hail of bullets or a well-placed rocket. The sound of Victory's laughter devoured the air. This was still playtime. The spear wasn't moving at its full speed, and it wasn't eating with its full veracity. Time to step things up a bit. The spear became a blur, became motion itself, its hunger driving it beyond mere movement. Snapping off a transmission needle from the Seed of Man's outer wall, Fei Long swung it with one hand like a sword, deflecting the spear. Compass! Fei Long's spleen! And deflecting it again. Compass! Fei Long's right eye! And again. Compass! Fei Long's third vertebrae! And again. Even with its monstrous speed, the spear found itself repelled before it could get anywhere close to Fei Long's body. Even with his strength and speed, Fei Long should have been pushed to his limits fighting off one of the fastest weapons in the galaxy. There was more to it. Each swing grew less desperate and more mechanical, as though the makeshift weapon itself was pulling Nebula One's hand wherever it needed to go. Of course, that was because that's what it was doing. Conquest Report. The ability is nameless. The ability responds to an attack from a weapon. Each time the transmission needle in the enemy weapon makes contact, the needle's automatic response to its approach becomes faster and stronger. The ability recognizes the enemy by its shape. After 5 impacts, bypassing the ability is effectively impossible for the weapon in question. The ability is well within Conquest's complexity limit. As such, development of a counter ability is possible. Proceeding. Developing counter ability. Counter ability complete. Deploy when ready. Victory gave Fei Long no chance to take a breath. The instant Conquest finished processing, he summoned his spear back to his hands, and in that same instant the spear ceased to be a spear. The handle engorged and
Reformed itself, sorry, it should be.
Reformed itself, becoming thick and rectangular. The blade grew into a perfect sphere as if it were a balloon being filled with air. If that ability Fei Long was now using recognized weapons by their shape, then all Victory had to do was change the shape of his weapon. You see? Victory cackled, swinging his mace towards Fei Long's head. If you just stand there defending like a dumbass, you're gonna die, man! Fei Long flew up and Fei Long said nothing. Where's the Supreme without supremacy? Victory roared, stabbing his trident towards Fei Long's chest. Come on! Who gives a shit about collateral? Show me what you can do, asshole! Fei Long swooped down. Please! Fei Long swooped down and Fei Long said nothing. Why are you looking at me like that? Victory snarled, hurling his chakram towards Fei Long's stomach. Ah, you're ruining it, damn it! Do something! Say something! Fei Long circled around, and Fei Long said nothing. Victory extended a hand, and the chakram pulled itself free of the wall and returned to his grip. With a twitch of his finger, the weapon returned to its original form. The blade of the spear shone majestically in the sunlight. Fine! Victory seethed. If you're so afraid of collateral damage, then let's have you face your fears, huh? The spear spun in his hand. Behind his visor, Fei Long's eyes widened. Nebula One charged forward on wings of heaven's fire. Compass! Victory said, his voice frozen with false calm. The nearest infant! The spear surged off with all its speed, and Fei Long, moving with speed beyond his limits, went to intercept it. Halfway through the valley of skyscrapers that surrounded the Seed of Man, Nebula One caught up with the spear, catching it in his hand and holding it still. It struggled and fought against his hold, but the grip of the planet's strongest man was right. There was now quite the distance between the two opponents, several kilometers, but as Victory spoke, Fei Long could surely hear him perfectly. Ah, Victory blushed. You finally touched it.
He's so freaky.
Conquest Report. You wrote he blushed, I figured.
Yeah.
Conquest Report. The ability is named Dragon's Breath. The ability was developed subconsciously. The ability was originally nameless, and the name applied later for ease of use. Dragon's Breath is constantly active. Any object that Fei Long infuses with its aether is instantly altered into a high-level aether armament. These armaments possess unique abilities based upon the situation Fei Long finds himself in at the time of infusion. They are exclusively for his use and do not work for others. Once infusion ceases, the object quickly returns to its prior state. At present, 9 objects are under the effects of Dragon's Breath. One of these is the transmission needle he was using earlier, while the rest are the various parts of his armored chassis. Proceed with caution. Dragon's Breath can be countered easily. Developing counter ability. Counter ability complete. Deploy when ready. I've been matching your pace so far, buddy boy, Victory said, raising his flesh hand, but you're starting to get boring, Hold on. But you're starting to get boring, man. Is it him?
God. Well, he's starting to. Maybe one day he'll become boring, man.
Oh, I see. But you're starting to get boring, man. So, I'm gonna run on ahead, yeah? His fingernails ignited one by one, becoming shining pink stars on the edges of his fingers. His grin stopped belonging to a human. His gaze stopped containing a soul. This was the moment Victory existed for. This was the moment of true massacre. Let's see if you can catch up. Calamity! Victory swept his hand through the air, and as he did, his burning nails erupted into beams of pure pink heat. The exchange rate put Jamilus to shame. The beam stretched long enough to more than cover the distance between Victory and his opponent, and that was good, for Fei Long was not Victory's target. The lines of fire rushed through the air like a set of demonic claws, and with nearly automatic precision, they sliced the skyscraper behind Nebula 1 into 4 equal pieces. Fei Long watched in horror as the tower crumbled. Fei Long listened in horror as screams poured from each and every floor. Tiny black dots poured out like ants. It was quite the fall. Go ahead, Victory smiled. You didn't want any collateral damage, right? Those poor people are in trouble. The spear rushed back into his waiting hand. Go save them, hero. Morgan Noct stared at Ashtel Durin, and Ashtel Durin stared at Morgan Noct. Neither of them wanted to make the first careless move. Morgan knew painfully well what Ash was capable of, even in this withered state. Ash knew just as well what Morgan was capable of, even with the blade of death hanging over his head. Ash sniffed long and hard, feeding his ailing body oxygen. Morgan exhaled, thin and focused, ready to move at any moment. Not that he could afford to move carelessly. Right now he had 4 steps left to take before he dropped dead. The effects of Black Timer weren't permanent. If he gave it time, a good length of time, his body would naturally restore its equilibrium. The problem was that he didn't have time. If Ashtel Durin moved to attack, Morgan couldn't just stand still, and at the same time he couldn't dodge. This was just about as bad as it got. Morgan, Ash said quietly, not unkindly. I still think there's... A harsh voice cut him off. Wait! Ash glanced over his shoulder as Gretchen Hale strolled into the room through the hole he'd created. In one hand she held a new crossbow, bone and gold. In the other she held a charred script. Half the lights on the ceiling had been destroyed by Ash's spectacular entrance, so her face was cast in shadows, but Morgan could feel the resentment in her gaze all the same. Shit! Instinctively, Morgan took a step forward, ready to slice that script in the woman holding it right then and there. 3! Idiot! Morgan stiffened up, and Gretchen, as if she'd heard his thoughts.
So that was the Black Tower things. It would be Morgan's voice saying 3.
3! Idiot! Morgan stiffened up, and Gretchen, as if she'd heard his thoughts, smirked smugly as she waved the script in her hand. Second script, she explained. This is what you were trying to destroy back there, isn't it? She looked over to Ash. They've been using this to plan their secret meetings with the UAP higher-ups. She smiled. I was right. Muzazi's over at the Seat of Man right now. I've sent Mariloko ahead. You go and join him. Slowly, Ash lowered his fists. He nodded. What about
you? Ash, you're better.
He's healed. Gretchen raised her crossbow in Morgan's direction. We'll finish things up here and then come after you. Come join you. After all. We? Morgan furrowed his brow, and then widened his eyes as Gretchen stepped into the light. Her face had changed since the confrontation upstairs. She glared daggers at him, one of those daggers gold, the other green, just like the leaf of a tree. We have unfinished business with this one. Oh.
Oh.
Wow, can you handle the questions? I gotta blow my nose.
I can handle them. I'm so strong. Let me get them. Whoa.
This fucking guy.
Is Victory designed specifically to combat other Aethers? Yes, I think we answered that. What's up with Bella Grace? You have to be more specific there. What do you mean?
Well, what's up?
Pugnant. Pugnant in a Constituent family. It's an awkward situation.
This is fucked up.
Yeah. Greeny says that so far Aether has been described as a fairly conscious function, that people need to call upon it to use it, especially in battle. But for people with instinctual Aether abilities like Xander, how often does Aether slip out? Like if he got startled, would he whip the air up and cut you to pieces of reaction? Or would it just flow up on either? So when we say subconscious, I don't really mean in terms of like, I don't control it, it's based on my emotions. I mean like, it's the creation process of the ability that happens subconsciously. So it's a case where you have put together that mental image in your head before you unlock your Aether. So once you unlock your Aether, they're waiting for you, basically.
Well, what if your tick is that your Aether is wild and chaotic?
Well, that's a different question. What if the world is made of pudding?
Lan asks...
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, yeah. You got it.
Can you unlock Aether in the womb? Theoretically, you maybe could.
Yeah, Tanhoney, when's the exact moment that an embryo becomes
when does
sold?
life begin?
Answer now.
The guy turns to the camera. I'm pro-life.
the only one who decides what happens to your fetus.
Oh, Jesus. No.
Jesus Lord, Chedjagan. Oh my god, that was awful. Quaker asks... Oh wait, no, that's not a question. I'm trying to find the next question.
All sorts of shit in here.
Rockshark asks, so hypothetically, if Anatrice exists back during Henry the Glutton reign, and she were to use ego emulation to emulate one of the person currently being controlled by him, what would happen?
She probably wouldn't be able to do it.
Because Henry has control already?
Yeah, well, they're still around in a sense, yeah. Because, yeah, if you get eaten by Henry the Glutton and he uses you, you are aware and you're not happy about it, is what I'll say.
Damn.
Yeah, it's an I have no mouth and I must scream sort of situation.
Alright, let's leave it off there for now. And then, update. Unless circumstances change tomorrow and I can try and do it, I won't be able to record
It's going to be solo acts. Yeah, most likely.
Yeah. I'll do my best to do as many of them as I can, but if you just hear Tan, that's why. Be nice to him. He's been very graceful to read his story for you all. It's really hard for him, so if we could all thank him for his service in the comments, it would really mean a lot to him.
He's saying it's like I'm deficient. It's like he's so brave. He'd even speak on video. With your voice.
Reading Aether is hard. It takes a lot out of your throat.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. All right.
Watch the next 3 chapters like the calmest, most sedate chapters ever.
And then he walked into the hallway.
This hallway
is a good hallway.
Wait, who's that? Shale, you survived Arc 3? Yes, I did.
Spoilers for 13 arcs ago.
He just comes out. He's like, I fell, indeed, but there was a pillow at the bottom.
I fell, but then I rose to the top.
Because I was so angry.
That's how we start the original movie?
Yeah.
Dark
It's like Mewtwo returns, Shale returns.
I'm not the citizen, I'm Shale!
we need to start recording. That's the end of we have nothing more of value to say.
Okay, bye!
Bye.